Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different, as you can tell, different setup, different topic, as you can tell by the title, and we're talking about the NBA draft. I'm really not as big of a basketball guy. As you know, this channel is pretty much solely football at this point, because football is really what I know about and what I do, but I love drafts. I'm enjoying the NBA right now, and I just want to talk about it a little bit, talk about what I know. Again, I'm not claiming to be an expert, and let's talk about it. So I'm going to do kind of three different segments. First of all, let's talk about the big three. It's Chet, it's Jabari, and it's Paolo. And talk about just kind of them as a whole and what I think the teams will do. So Chet, Chet Holmgren out of Gonzaga, big center, can play some power forward. He's huge, he's long, but he's very thin, and people have questions of whether he can translate his game to the NBA, being, a very thin guy. And, can he play, with the physicality, he's going to need time to get bigger and get stronger. And I think that's fair, but I think he's just such a talented piece. Since he can do so much, as more of a skill player, he has guard skills at 7'3", and I think that's a unique skill set. People are gonna obviously call him Kevin Durant, same like they're doing Jabari, but I like Chet. He's fun, but we'll see about him. Again, now Jabari Smith, probably one of my favorites. I love Jabari Smith. I saw him kind of cook in the SEC this year at Auburn, Arkansas fan, and we're going to get into more of that later. But Jabari Smith got a really good jump shot, really good shooter, needs to develop on defense and a lot of other parts of his game, but his potential, he's big, he can do a lot of things. And then Paolo Banchero out of Duke is another really good player. I think he has the highest floor. And now we're going to do my little top three mock draft. I'm going to do what I think will happen and then do what I would do. So this will go pretty quick. So what I think will happen, I think it's going to be Jabari Smith to the Magic at 1, then Chet Holmgren at 2 to the Thunder, and then Paolo Banchero at number 3 to the Rockets. I just feel like that's the direction the teams are going to go in. But if it was me picking, I would pick Paolo at 1 for the Magic. I just think he's the best player in the draft, and I think he has the highest floor. Still a good ceiling, and the Magic are a team that are just kind of in a weird spot right now. They have another big wing now, but he's really good, and I wouldn't want to pass up on him, especially as the Magic are notorious for being bad at developing talent and not letting it blossom and, trying to rush the process. So that's why I would take him at 1. Then at 2 for the Thunder, I'm still going to go with Chet. I just think he makes the most sense for them as the center that they need. They've got Shea, they've got Josh Giddey, they've got a lot of talent, but they need a big, and obviously Jabari could be that too, but I don't think they need really another scorer. Not that Chet can't score, as he can, and he has a lot of proficiency there, but I think as a rim protector, a shot blocker that can also run the floor and do a lot of things on offense, I think he's the best fit for them, honestly. And then at 3, the Rockets, I would have taking Jabari Smith, just because he's, the last member of the big three. But now let's talk about some interesting teams, and the first one is the Kings at 4. So the consensus is, definitely there is no consensus after the big three, but the best player for most people and for me is Jaden Ivey, but he's definitely expressed concerns about not wanting to be in Sacramento, and can you really blame him? But are they really going to draft a guy that doesn't want to play for them that much? So I don't know what I would do there. I think I would just take Keegan Murray and be done with it, because Keegan Murray is very good. He'll be a very good player for them. And then next, let's talk about the Pelicans at 8, which is kind of a weird team to be excited about, but their roster is really good already. Like, this is the pick, I believe, from the Lakers and the Anthony Davis trade. There's so many directions they could go with this that I think is what makes it exciting. They can go high floor, best player available, and because they have a really good 5 already, but I just think they're going to get a really exciting guy who's going to come in a really good situation and be able to ball out from day one if they get a high floor guy. Maybe they'll go developmental, but we'll kind of see what they do as, I think, a contending team at this point. Then we got the Hornets at 13. Will they move up to try to get a center? Like maybe they want Jalen Duren out of Memphis. Maybe they want to trade that pick for a more established center. Like maybe they try to get DeAndre Ayton. And even though it's a little bit early, it's kind of a weird, with the draft being before. I'm used to the NFL where it's free agency and then the draft. But I don't know what the Hornets are going to do. I like following the Hornets. They need a center, and I'd like to see what they're going to do. Again, I'm not sure, but we'll see. And then now let's talk about some of my guys in the draft, some of my favorite players. First one, Jaden Ivey out of Purdue, projected to go 4, 5, 6. Maybe he falls, but pretty much after the big three, he's one of the better players available. And he's just so exciting. He has so much development to do, but he's so much fun to watch. And I watched, a little bit of Purdue basketball this year, trying to keep up with them, in the tournament and that. And that's going to be a lot of guys I watched in the tournament because, I'm a tournament kind of guy. I watched the SEC for most of the year before the tournament. But love Jaden Ivey, love his game, and I want to see what he can develop into because I think he can be really fun for them. Then we've got Dyson Daniels out of the G League Ignite and Australia. I think he's from just a really high floor player that is going to bring a lot to his team wherever he goes. I think he might go to the Pels at 8, but a lot of teams could take a chance on him, and I think he could be really elite. He's just a very, very good player and just somebody who plays a lot of quality basketball that's just very fun to watch, I guess. Then next, I've got Johnny Davis out of Wisconsin. Just such a good scorer, great leader. You can just tell he's got that it factor to him. He's got that dog in him, as some people would say, but I like him a lot, and I think he's going to be fun. And then we're going to get down the board. One of my favorite players in all of college basketball last year, my guy Jalen Williams, projected to go early second round, I think, from what I've seen. But man, he can hoop. I mean, he's got so much potential. The way that he improved from, and I mean, I could go into a long rant about Arkansas basketball here, but I'll spare you. Maybe that's for another time. But his improvement from last year, when he was a true freshman, to this year as a true sophomore, or maybe he was a redshirt. Either way, freshman to sophomore, he turned into so much of a difference maker. First year we went to the Elite Eight, he was a backup center for us. We had Justin Smith, who is just so underrated, so criminally underrated. I don't know what he's doing right now, but I hope he's still playing because he's great. But Jalen Williams was good. He was what, if you know Arkansas basketball, Kamani Johnson was for us this year. And so I'm hoping Kamani can take that Jalen Williams jump. But Jalen Williams is so good and has so much potential. I love him. He's a great guy. He's a great presence on the floor. He can draw charges like no other player that I've seen. Man, he's good. He's something. Then we've got Johnny Juzang. Kind of, got into more. This is more of a heart pick. Watching him in the 2021, I guess, March Madness for UCLA. I mean, this guy, another guy, he's got that dog in him. He's just so much fun to watch. I think he's going to be one of those undrafted guys that definitely makes a roster and is probably a very good rotational player in the future. And I'm just, a big fan of his game. Then we've got Brady Manick out of North Carolina. He's just such a good three-point shooter and is so good down low too. I mean, he fouled out a lot in this year's tournament run, and we'll have to see how he can stay, if he can stay on the court. But I mean, when he's hot, I mean, he's special out there. And my last one is one of my favorite players, another Arkansas guy, JD Notae. Just pure scorer at point guard. You could probably run him a shooting guard. He's short. He's only 6'1", maybe 6'2" on a good day. And I don't see him getting a lot of draft hype. Probably going to be a guy who maybe makes the G League, maybe plays overseas. But I'm telling you, watch out for JD Notae because he can just score the basketball, and he's just so talented. He doesn't get phased. He's completely, you can tell he's in the zone always. He shows no emotion. It's really funny. We're in this huge swing of the game, and he doesn't show any emotion at all. But love JD Notae, and that's going to wrap it up for today. This was definitely more of me just rambling about the draft, and I apologize that it's not super concise. But again, I'm not an NBA draft expert. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit, use my sports platform here to lift up some guys that I'm a big fan of. If you haven't heard of some of these guys, check them out. They're a lot of fun. And let me know what you guys think your team's going to do. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you stopping by here today, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.